Fourier. Original title, Wednesday's Drawing, Fourier. That cat has some serious periodic components. Title text, that cat has some serious periodic components. This was the 27th comic originally posted to LiveJournal. The previous one was 25, Barrel, Part 4, and the next one was 27, Meat Cereals. Explanation. A Fourier transform is a mathematical function transformation often used in physics and engineering. The theory is that any line graph can be represented as the sum of a bunch of sine waves of different frequencies and amplitudes. The most obvious application is in analyzing a sound recording in terms of the different frequencies of sounds used. So, for any line graph, you can produce another graph of the frequencies and their amplitudes. This can be done by evaluating an integral based on the function, which is referred to as taking the Fourier transform of the function. The form of the integral that needs to be taken is actually shown in the third line of the comic 55, useless. Unfortunately, Cueball has applied this transform to his cat. Indeed, whatever he has done has literally transformed his cat into the shape of an amplitude line graph. Although the cat seems to be alive and largely unharmed, it is clearly not in its familiar shape, and it is not clear if this condition is permanent or not. Notably, the fact the cat is still alive relates to an important property of Fourier transformation: the information of the original graph is fully preserved and can even be reversed to produce the original graph. How a reverse Fourier transformation would apply to a transformed cat has yet to be seen. Cueball is, in this particular comic, likely John from Garfield. The name of Garfield's vet in the comic is Liz, and a recurring joke in that strip is John calling Liz to report various strange ailments befalling Garfield. Periodic components in the title text refers to the spikes in the graph. Because sine waves repeat themselves as you go along, the presence of large amounts of one particular sine wave in the Fourier transform graph, each spike shows that the overall result, the initial graph, is likely to have parts that also repeat themselves, like a periodic function. In other words, the cat has repeating parts. Transcript. Cueball is talking on the phone. A grotesque, spiky cat, who is apparently a Fourier transform, is looking at him. Cueball: Hi, Dr. Elizabeth. Yeah, I accidentally took the Fourier transform of my cat, meow. Trivia. A user of this wiki, T7685, created the graph of the reverse Fourier transform of the cat in this comic. Unfortunately, they don't have the shape of a normal cat, because Randall didn't actually Fourier transform a cat-like waveform. The resulting graphs are displayed below. Absolute value of cat components of cat. David Zaslavsky published a fan version on his blog Ellipsix Informatics, interpreting the transformed cat. Discussion: Isn't the cat also imaginary because its Fourier transform isn't symmetric? I feel like there's another joke in that his cat is imaginary or has complex components. SHDWDRGN Talk 633, October 8, 2014 UTC SHDWDRGN. Picking up on SHDWDRGN's comment above, how interesting would the Fourier transform of Schrödinger's cat be? I guess it would consist of two overlaid graphs, neither of which would be certain until you actually looked at it. Editor Gonk Talk 938, July 20, 2018 UTC. Might this also be a Garfield joke? Garfield's veterinarian is named Liz. Although Garfield, being roughly a three-dimensional ovoid, would probably end up with a much different looking Fourier transform than what is depicted here. 199.27.130.246.2126, October 9, 2014 UTC. I think the transform may be of the movements of various parts of the cat. Cats tend to move their ears and heads a lot, and other parts, Less so. What tipped me off is the spike at the tip of the tail. Cats typically twitch the very tip of their tail in a rhythmic fashion. 108.162.216.1922152 March 2, 2015 UTC. Coincidentally, the Fourier transform of a cat was used in a 2003 paper on the so-called phase problem in protein crystallography Figure 3 to illustrate the relevance of phase and amplitude information. http journals.iucr.org D Issues 2003 1100 BA 5050 Index.html and http journals.iucr.org D Issues 2003 1100 BA 5050 BA 5050 Fig3.html. Can someone do a reverse Fourier transform on the cat's graph and post it here please? 162.158.79.37 July 14, 2020 UTC Bumpf. I have done a Fourier transform on the graph but sorry to report it's not that interesting. I can't figure out how to upload here, so here's an Imager link https imager.com apfxlb first time contributing, sorry if I do something wrong. T7685 Talk 0049 March 10, 2025 UTC. You did great. Thank you for the graphs. I uploaded them myself and added them to the article. Favi Fake Talk 1540 March 10, 2025 UTC. In an attempt to find calculated Fourier series of cats, I found this gem, Interpreting Fourier Transforms Wanderer Sinner Talk 1737, March 27, 2025 UTC. My guess is that if you shift the black part of the graph by -50, it will form the cat. 2A0D334434CA3110:7472 DB46:583 DB4A725, August 4, 2025 UTC unknown.